Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. It is the second time I've tried to film this because the first time I tried to film this, someone ignored the no solicitation sign on my door and interrupted me. That does not make me happy. Anyway, today as you're seeing this, it is November 11th. Thanks to all the veterans who have fought for our freedom. Thank you, we appreciate it. This video has nothing to do with that though. But I did want it to come out on November 11th for a specific reason. And that is, if my information is correct, today is the first day of voting for the Goodreads Choice Awards. It is also a weird sun angle time. Sorry about that. Anyway, and I wanted to kind of make this about two Goodreads issues that I talk about with people, maybe not in videos or online, but I've talked about it and there's discussions around this and I kind of wanted to discuss it with you. The first issue is, why do I still use Goodreads? Good question. And I have a good answer for it. I have a good answer and then kind of like a minor answer. Well, a minor answer and then a good answer to that. I will admit, Goodreads is a crappy site. I will admit, I don't like that it's owned by Amazon. I don't like how commercial it is. I don't like the fact that they are not at all interested in making it any better for the users. I will admit, I don't like the fact that they pretty much, it can be a bit of a cesspool with like review bombing and things like that. I don't like any of that. I don't like it. I firmly believe, and I'm here to advocate for getting an account with Storygraph. I think Storygraph is a much better site in almost every way. There is an exception, which I will get to. And definitely, I think it's much more user-friendly. It is for the readers. That is the benefit for it. They are very interested in making it a much better site for the people who use it. I think the quality of information I get from there seems to be better because aren't as many people using it. So the people who are using Storygraph, I think like as far as ratings go, I think the ratings, because sometimes there is a bit of a difference between a Goodreads rating and a Storygraph rating. I trust Storygraph ratings more. Storygraph is a great site and none of this should be taken as use Goodreads instead of Storygraph because I think everyone should be on Storygraph. Storygraph is great, but I still use Goodreads. Why do I do that? First of all, I don't do reviews anymore on Goodreads. I will update progress, but I don't do reviews because Amazon has started taking those reviews and using it for their own purposes, which I don't like. So there is that. And the little reason. So let me get to the real minor reasons why I still use Goodreads. One is, the one way I think Goodreads is superior to Storygraph is in the sort of discussion arena, like discussion groups. And my postal book group formed on Goodreads and uses Goodreads as its sort of communication hub. So being a part of that group, I have to still be on Goodreads. It's just that. I also find it easier if I need really quick information, like I need to pull a book cover for a graphic, or I need a release date really quick. It's a lot easier for me to go to Goodreads and pull it up than Storygraph. And I don't know why that is. It might be just a mental block in my own mind. There you go. I don't know, but for me it is. So those are all kind of like the minor reasons. But here's the major reason why I still use Goodreads. I have been a part of or watched a number of author talks, and at almost every one of these, the same question comes up, which is how can I best support authors, or how can I best support you if you're asking a specific author? And the answer is always the same. The first one is buy the book. Obviously, buy the book. But the second one is to shelve it on Goodreads. And the reason for that is, when it comes to how much money and effort are we going to put into marketing this particular book, this particular author, or if there is an author that is maybe looking for a new publisher, new editor, how much of a safe bet are they, sort of thing. They look to Goodreads. They don't even look so much, they do look at ratings, but the more important thing is how often a book is shelved on Goodreads. So even like I've created a DNF shelf. They don't care if the book's on the DNF shelf. It's still shelved. And that helps readers. That shows value to publishers and marketers and editors and such like that. That it shows them that the author has a value, and that helps them. And authors need things like that for their own career, and I want to support authors. That is why I still use Goodreads. I kind of feel like I'm making excuses, but it's not an excuse. That's a reason why. It's like, if it weren't for that and it weren't for my postal book group, I would get rid of Goodreads. I would just not use it. There's the Amazon angle, and there's also the fact they don't seem to care at all about their users. They don't. I mean, there are certain really just basic things that users of Goodreads have been asking for years that they refuse to give them, like a pause reading, which Storygraph has given their readers. Storygraph is so much more user-friendly. But again, I use Storygraph for me. I use Goodreads to support authors, if that makes sense. So that's why I still use Goodreads. I am not telling you all to use Goodreads. I'm just saying why I use it. I am telling you all to get a Storygraph account and use Storygraph because it's an awesome site. But that is why I still use Goodreads. Now, let's get to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Every year when the Goodreads Choice Awards starts, the complaining starts. It's a popularity contest. And yeah, it is. It is a popularity contest. People vote for books they haven't read. Yeah, they do. I do. I vote for books that I'm interested in reading. It's just the way it goes. All of these things are true. It's so white. It's always the white authors. Yes, and this is, yes, but it's getting better. I will say that it is getting better in that aspect. It's always just the bestsellers. It's never the books people have never heard of. Yeah, because they want people who've read the books to vote for them. That's the point of it, right? All of these things are true. The thing is, I don't see a problem with any of these things. I also feel like there's basically two awards that really are reader focused and readers decide. And one of them is the Goodreads Choice Award. The other is the far superior BookTube Prize Award. That's a far better award. But more people do the Goodreads Choice Award. And honestly, winning a Goodreads Choice Award, I think, translates into dollars, sadly, though I don't think should be the case, but sadly, I think generates dollars for authors more than the BookTube Prize does. But let's keep doing the BookTube Prize and getting it out there so more people know about it, because it's an awesome prize. But all these things that people complain about with the Goodreads Prize are true. But I don't see really a problem with any of it. I will address it's only popular books that get there. The reason that is because one of the ways Goodreads chooses which are the nominees are which books are selling, which books are shelved so often, back to the shelving issue, because they want people who've read the books or who are interested in reading the books to be the voters. So that's just the nature of the award. If you want an award that goes for maybe books you haven't heard of, go for the frickin' Booker. I didn't hear of any of them. Or the National Book Award. This year, I swear I had not heard of, maybe I'd heard of one book off the National Book Award. It used to be I had heard of all of them. I don't know. Those awards are getting more obscure. And lots of times I've never heard of what wins the Booker. So the year the Night Watch won, which was not this past year, but the year before, I had never heard of that book before. Never heard of it until it won. And that's great, sure, but that's not what the Goodreads Choice Award is. There's a lot of fun. I think people do have fun with trying to predict the Goodreads Choice Awards. I think those are great fun. I've only really ever had one big issue with the Goodreads Choice Awards, which I do think was an issue, I think was handled badly throughout the process, which was when The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer was nominated for Best Debut Novel. It was not a debut novel. Meg Schaefer is a pen name of another writer who's written many books. That should never have gotten as far as it did. It ended up winning the award, and the author at that point's like, okay, I will just not accept the award, but it should never have gotten to that point. It should never have been nominated. The people who do Goodreads should know I think even if you pulled up the page on that, it said Meg Schaefer is the pen name for someone else, or it even tells you who it is. They should have known that wasn't a debut novel, should never have been nominated. I do think the author should have taken herself out of consideration far earlier than she did. But hey, those things happen. I just complained about it. But is the Goodreads Choice Award super prestigious? No. But it is something that translates into money for authors, and I want to support authors. And, if you want, my kind of feeling is if you want, I don't think, as far as Goodreads go, elevating the really unknown books they should be doing. I just don't think the Goodreads Choice Award is the place to do it. They come out with all sorts of reading lists. I don't really pay attention to them, but they do. They come out with all sorts of reading lists. That's where Goodreads, the responsibility on Goodreads is to maybe elevate those lesser known authors. I don't think the Choice Award is where it is. I don't think it's a bad thing to vote for books you haven't read yet. I don't. I've done it. I do it every time. There are like best young adult fantasy, for example. I will probably never vote in because that's not what I read. But if best mystery comes up and I haven't read any of them, I'm going to vote for the one I'm most interested in reading. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think it's anyone's choice to tell other people how to vote in this. Just like it's not, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I've come to the conclusion it is probably our responsibility to tell people how to vote in actual elections, because left to their own devices, we get into bad places. But that's just me. I'm sorry. I think, first of all, this is when it comes to the Choice Awards, the Goodreads Choice Awards, as hopefully I got my information right and you start voting today. Don't worry about what other people have voted. If you have a problem with the Choice Awards, good, don't vote in them. That's fine. No one's going to do anything. Just, it is what it is. It's not a major award. It is a popularity contest. Fine, it is. We know that. But it's a different kind of award. It's not the Booker. It's not the Pulitzer. It's, the closest kind of award to it is the BookTube Prize Award, which is a much better award. It just is. Unfortunately, I don't think it gets the sort of recognition that it should, because the people who are participating in the voting in the BookTube Prize are people who are real, I shouldn't say real readers, because I hate it when people get gatekeepy like that, but people who are into reading enough, they self-select into it to be into this award. Whereas Goodreads is there, it's trying to get people, it's more soliciting people, just anybody to vote in. It is a popularity contest, and that's okay. The one thing, Storygraph doesn't have an award, and that's perfectly fine. Storygraph doesn't need it. I don't think Storygraph should do a Storygraph Choice Awards, because that's not what Storygraph is. Goodreads is a different kind of site. In many ways, it's a far inferior site than Storygraph. But the Goodreads Choice Award is a thing that it can do. And if you choose to participate in it, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, I'm saying if you choose to, it's fine. Vote for your favorite book. Only vote for books you've read if you want. Vote for books you haven't read if you want. I don't care. It's fine. It is sort of the Wild West of book awards, and that's okay. That's okay. When someone says, "Oh, this won the Goodreads Choice Award," I kind of know it won the Wild West of choice, or whatever. Well, all sorts of things could have gone into it, and that's okay. It's okay. I am not at all promoting Goodreads here and saying this, other than to say that there is a benefit to authors to use Goodreads. But I'm not dissing the Goodreads Choice Awards, if that makes sense. So I really have two minds on this one. I do think Goodreads is kind of a crappy site. Obviously I'm not promoting it because I'm telling you it's a crappy site. But I also think, there's really no use in throwing fits about the Goodreads Choice Awards. If you don't want to participate, that's fine. Don't. If a book wins that I don't like, whatever, I don't care. I do not care. But if a book wins that I am excited about, then that's great. Whatever. It's not an award I take seriously, but it's kind of fun. I gotta admit, it's kind of fun. So anyway, that's my Goodreads video for today, which I hope was the appropriate date to do it. Anyway, let me know where you stand on Goodreads. I don't care where people stand. I'm just interested. I do think you should try Storygraph, though, if you haven't already, because it's a great site. Like, subscribe, join my Discord. If you'd like to play the emoji game, I give me an emoji of an award emoji. An award emoji, like a trophy or something, a medal. I don't care, something like that. Anyway, like, subscribe, join my Discord. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.